Well, hello to you. Welcome to UpLift, starting off a brand new week. How was your weekend? I know that if you gave Sunday to the Lord in worship, that you had a great weekend. We're praising the Lord here at Messenger for what we are witnessing in each of the services. Such a great outpouring of the Spirit of God. Isn't that what church is all about? It's all about Jesus. It's all about the ministry of the Word of God and allowing that Word to be poured into you. And knowing that as that Word goes in, faith comes out, because faith comes through the Word of the living God. And so I thank the Lord for what we're seeing here at Messenger Church and for what's going on in your life. Better things are ahead. You got to believe that. I'm ministering on the subject for the past couple of weeks, turning your difficulties into opportunities. I'm enjoying this, and I pray that you are, because I want you to know something. God would never allow you to go through anything that the outcome would not be to your advantage. It's just God. God doesn't do bad things. God doesn't throw bad and ugly things on people. Now, I know everybody has tough times at different times, but a lot of times that's because of the choices that we make in life. Sometimes it's the trials of the enemy who is trying to convince God, as he did with Job, that we won't serve him when bad things happen. But guess what? We can take all of those difficulties, and by faith that comes from the Word, those difficulties, and we can turn them in opportunities and let the enemy know that a test will not destroy me, but a test will give me a testimony. And so what I'm doing is I'm pointing out to you 4 valuable directives to achieve opportunities. Basically, it's the process of turning those problems into opportunities. We've already found out that through the writings of the Apostle Paul in Philippians 3:13 and 14. I've not got there yet. I'm still on the battlefield. Used to sing that old song years ago. I'm on the battlefield for my Lord. I'm fighting for my rights. You got to know your rights before you know what to fight for. I'm dealing with that in Wednesday nights word studies of how we're destroyed for lack of knowledge. And I'm going into the book of Ephesians, and we're talking about what Paul wrote to the church at Ephesus. And so what I want you to know is that those difficulties, those hard times can become opportunities. You've not arrived yet, but you're well on your way. And then number 2, I'm forgetting what I've been through. I'm not going to let yesterday determine the actions of today, because it will destroy the benefits that will come my way tomorrow. So I'm not going to get hung up on how hard it was, even what I accomplished yesterday. Today is another day. I've got hours ahead of me to accomplish what God has called me to accomplish. Now, I stopped Friday right at the beginning of 2 Corinthians 11:23 and 29. In these verses, you will see what the Apostle Paul went through, and he's the one that wrote, forgetting those things which are behind. Notice this: I've worked much harder, been jailed more often, beaten up more times than I can count, and at death's door time after time. I've been flogged 5 times with the Jews, 39 lashes. That's 195. Beaten by Roman rods 3 times per mile with rocks. Once I've been shipwrecked 3 times, immersed in the open sea for a night and a day, in hard traveling year in and year out. I've had to ford rivers, fend off robbers, struggle with friends, and struggle with foes. But then he goes on. I've been at risk in the city, at risk in the country. I've been endangered by the desert sun and the sea storm, and betrayed by those I thought were my brothers. I've known drudgery and hard labor, many a long and lonely night without sleep, many a missed wheel blasted by the cold, naked to the weather. That's not the half of it. When you throw in the daily pressures and anxieties of the church, pastor's hard. When someone gets to the end of his rope, I feel the desperation in my bones. When someone is duped into sin, an angry fire burns in my gut. In other words, Paul was so interested in his flock until he couldn't sleep at night. Here we hear what a man went through. And what did this man say? I'm going to forget what was, because I know I've not gotten to where I want to get to. All right? So, folks, remember that, please. I know I touched on it Friday, but I just had to read what the apostle went through, where you could understand the magnitude of that statement in his own heart. Let it go. Somebody needed to hear that, so I'm going to say it again. Let it go. It's holding you back. All right, there's great things ahead for you. Why? Because you're learning how to turn your difficulties into opportunities. Always remember, you are blessed.